This is a video I did not want to be making with a certain club. A certain player, yes. With this badge, yes. But not this club. Hi guys, Swans Days here. Back again for another video. And this is going to be a bit of a depressing one. One of my favourite players last season. Arguably one of our best players last season. And he's only here for a few months. Lewis O'Brien has signed for fellow Welsh club Wrexham. Now, for Wrexham, it's an absolutely unbelievable signing. For a team who have got a lot of age and championship older players like James McLean, J. Rodriguez, Danny Ward, who've all got experience at higher levels, to get a player in his prime like Lewis O'Brien's unbelievable. And they'll do very, very good this season now, I think. Some of their signings more recently have been absolutely terrific. Now, I know this is a Swansea channel, and I don't want to turn into that sort of channel who glaze Wrexham. But at the end of the day, it is Swansea related, as we were in for O'Brien, and unfortunately we couldn't get him. So I'm just going to talk about what Wrexham fans can expect from O'Brien. My little disappointment, how we didn't really put an offer in. But yeah, Lewis O'Brien then has signed for Wrexham officially. Here we go. The 26-year-old has joined for a reported £5 million, so I do believe that is another club record fee for Wrexham. I believe they did break that last week for a New Zealand left-back, so they've already broke it again. So Wrexham are really splashing the cash now to try and stay in the Championship. Now, there was a fee agreed a few weeks ago from O'Brien's camp with Wrexham's camp, but they couldn't agree on the wages. Obviously, we all know Lewis O'Brien has got very big wages at Championship level. Obviously, signing for Forest on a lot of the bigger contract than Huddersfield. So that was the little sticking point between Wrexham and O'Brien, but it looks like they've figured that situation out now as it's a done deal. But yeah, fantastic signing. 26-year-old has a lot of experience at Championship level. Obviously, with Huddersfield Town was absolutely terrific in his younger days. Really helped Huddersfield to have some successful seasons, especially under Carlos Corberhan. Obviously, Middlesbrough was on loan there. Did very well at Borough, to be fair. Obviously, Borough, a bit of a tricky team to really predict what they're going to do these days. And obviously, Swansea last season for a few months, considering we lost our captain in a short spell of time, we didn't really know what was going to happen in terms of a replacement. They get a player of Lewis O'Brien's quality, similar to Grimes, left-footed, fantastic player. And obviously, he only scored one goal for Swansea, but he was playing in a bit more of a defensive role. And the goal he did score was a great header against Plymouth Argyle. Now, he only had a year left in his Nottingham Forest deal. So unfortunately, if he had a few more years left in his contract, Swans could have gone in with another loan option, which would have been a lot cheaper for us and potentially could have happened. Now, O'Brien did love his stay at Swansea. At the end of the season awards, he was telling certain people, he really enjoyed his time here. And things could happen in terms of a reunion with Swansea in the future, but unfortunately that's not happened. In terms of his Forest career then, yeah, not great. Joined in 2022 after they beat Huddersfield, and then they signed him and Harry Toffolo from Huddersfield after the playoff final in a joint £10 million deal, so kind of hard to predict who cost what in that deal, but you just assume O'Brien was the most expensive player in that deal. Obviously, Toffolo has left Forest this summer as well, but yeah, it'll say a 3-year deal and also joins some great players at Wrexham. Now, I was a little bit controversial about my take about Wrexham a couple of weeks ago on my channel. I was saying in the transfer video, their business I don't think is that impressive. Danny Ward, I'm not a huge fan of him, and I was a little bit disappointed with the Hardy signing. Lucky, I think Hardy's okay, but if you really want to stay in this division, you need something a bit more clinical than Hardy. And yeah, since then they've signed some brilliant players. Josh Windass has come in from Sheffield Wednesday on a free transfer. Obviously, the situation with Sheffield Wednesday, certain players can leave for free because they didn't get paid, so he's left and obviously joined Wrexham now. Windass, 31, obviously in that age now where he is approaching the end of his career, essentially, in terms of his legs before they go. But 31 still a decent age, especially if you scored goals in the prior season, which he did at Sheffield Wednesday. Did very well there, and I think it's a fantastic sign on a free transfer. They have also signed Roberto Cassia. Not sure if I pronounced that right, probably a shocking pronunciation, so I do apologise for any New Zealand international fans watching or Wrexham fans. But yeah, this left back has come in for a reported £3 to £4 million deal. 24 years old New Zealand left back. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know much about him, but if you're spending £3 to £4 million on a left back from New Zealand, you're going to assume he's half decent. So yeah, that on paper probably is a good signing. And of course, George Thompson as well from Bolton Wanderers, sensible signing. He looks a very good player. So yeah, Wrexham are really going for it now. Like I said, I was very critical of their early transfer business, but now they're really pushing for it. Who knows? Could they go to another promotion? Probably not. But with players like O'Brien in their prime, you know, they definitely can stay in this division, and I think most Wrexham realistic fans would just want to stay in this division and then push on. Obviously Phil Parkinson at Championship level hasn't managed at this level in a long time. Obviously very experienced manager, of course, and we do know a lot about him as Swans fans. We did play against, well, he did manage against us in that cup final in 2013 or 2012. My memory's shocking, but obviously he was the Bradford manager when we beat them 5-0, and they had players like Naki Wells in that team who still play. So yeah, the longevity of Parkinson's brilliant. But yeah, only played 16 games for the Swans, scored 1 goal, absolutely brilliant, so consistent. And like I said, I'm just absolutely gutted, man. Like, I don't have nothing against Wrexham. I don't think there's any sort of like rivalry there as much as both clubs, well, Swansea especially, want to push this Wrexham rivalry. I don't have anything against Wrexham. I just find it a little annoying, they're just pro-American propaganda. But at the end of the day, that's not Wrexham fans' fault, is it? That's Sky Sports, that's the mainstream media, and at the end of the day, it gets clicks. And let's be fair, Wrexham are probably one of the bigger clubs in the Championship now in terms of worldwide audience, which is fair play to them. Obviously, I think they've got the second smallest stadium in the Championship, just after Oxford United, who I think have got 100 less seats than Wrexham. So, yeah, they're not officially the smallest stadium in the Championship. But, look, obviously with Cardiff going down last season, Newport stuck in League 2, obviously Merthyr still in the EFL. Obviously, Swans are sort of different to every other club, aren't we? We're Welsh, no one else is Welsh, but you've got to look out for that Welsh rivalry. Obviously, when we do play Wrexham, you know, there'll be a bit forced hatred and stuff like that, but I don't think, you know, it's anything we'll hate Wrexham. We haven't played Wrexham in God knows how long. Obviously, Lee Trundle used to play for Wrexham, huge fan of him. Neil Taylor, obviously, be signed from Wrexham, fantastic left-back as well. So, yeah, there's no hatred for Wrexham in this video, so I do apologise if it feels like there's a hatred towards Wrexham. It's just I'm frustrated that we've not got O'Brien. He's gone to a fellow club who are Welsh, which, you know, it's not the worst scenario. Could have been Cardiff, for example, but obviously I generally thought we could have got this deal. Now, obviously, without financial situation, the money we have spent this summer, very unlikely O'Brien was going to come here unless, you know, it was a deadline day move and he hadn't got anything sorted and he was going to rot in Forest Reserves and potentially he'd lower his wages just to get a move. But, yeah, look, I think he'll do very well for Wrexham. Obviously, I think Wrexham, if they are going to stay in this division this year, their home form will be crucial. Away from home, I think, at times, it could potentially get a few spankings, especially off the big boys, Southampton, Ipswich, Leicester. I think that could potentially happen. But at home, I think it'll be a hard place to go. You know, that ground, especially with some of the games which, let's be honest, a few of their games will be on TV at home. And, you know, under the lights, it'll be a hard place to go. And, you know, you're not a bad team if you played in non-league a few years ago and you're already in the Championship. Now, like I said, their expectation this season is just to survive. I'm not expecting them to have a top 10 push, top 12 push, playoff push, nothing like that. If they stay in the league, it's a great season for Wrexham. But I do have my doubts about Parkinson. But when you get players like Josh Windass, Lewis O'Brien, you know, it's fantastic signings. And for a team who've just come up, it's scary. And now, talking about Birmingham for a second as well, you know, Eric Cashin from Brighton on loan. Now, his Brighton days have been terrible. I think he's played 1 game for Brighton. But him at Derby, outstanding centre-back, left-footed as well, young, really consistent. Mate, what are these newly promoted teams cooking? It's like some really good players. I know. Obviously they got loads of money. Furiashi as well, £10 million from Rennes. It's so unbelievable. Championship now, it's such an exciting league. It's way better than the Prem. I don't care what anyone says. Like, there's no actual favourite for the league because no one knows how the relegated teams are going to do. You've got 2 newly promoted teams who are spending cash for days and have very good squads. And obviously, the other team who did come up with them, Charlton, have a great manager who's very up himself but knows how to get the job done. So, yeah, and obviously he's Welsh as well. So, yeah, another Welshman in the league, which, again, Cardiff boy, that'll be fun. So we do have a derby after all, lads. But no, if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, this is a Swansea channel. I know I've gone on to Wrexham a little bit, but I thought I had to talk about this transfer because Swans were linked with O'Brien. He was essentially our player last season, and it's essentially a transfer, even though he's not actually at our club. And I just want to give my thoughts. And obviously, there will be a few Wrexham fans watching. You know, hopefully you like the video. If you do, please subscribe. But yeah, look, you've got a great player in your hands. 26 years old, great age, in his prime. Obviously, a big transfer fee, but honestly, you'll repay that in months. You'll love him. And it's just annoying how, you know, another team strengthened. And obviously, we've got some great players, but O'Brien, man, you know what you're getting. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, Lewis O'Brien has signed for Wrexham. It's a dark day for us all.
I need one more chance. Oh, baby, let me show you. I need one more chance. Oh.